This time, we're going to talk about specifically sampling techniques. When we say sampling technique, it is a procedure used to determine the individuals or members of a sample. So we're going to learn how do we know if a specific individual or unit or data will be part rather of our sample. Generally, sampling techniques rather are divided into probability and non-probability sampling, and these are the examples of those, and we will go through them one by one. When we say probability sampling, it is a procedure where every unit in the population has a chance of being selected. That would mean we should have a list of every unit, every member of the population, and we randomly or we use chance to select our sample. And we remove our bias, either very minimal or actually not there. And because of the principles of randomization or chance, it is most likely produced, or it is most likely to produce rather, a representative of the population because we randomly chose it from the population. It's as if we're making another population from that population. Hence, it represents our population. The five probability sampling methods which we will go to in a while would be the simple random sampling or SRS, the systematic sampling, the stratified sampling, the cluster sampling, and the multi-stage sampling. On the other hand, we also have what we call a non-probability sampling. This is a procedure that violates at least one of the important principles or protocols of probability sampling, and this does not produce a representative sample. However, this does not mean that we cannot use non-probability sampling. There are certain analyses that would require us to do non-probability sampling. And some examples or some methods of non-probability sampling would be convenience sampling, judgment sampling, snowball sampling, and quota sampling. This time, let's go through first our probability sampling methods or sampling techniques. The first one is the simple random sampling. It is also more commonly known as the lottery method, where we write the names or codes on a piece of paper, put them in a container, then randomly select the desired number of samples. Because of this, it is sometimes also referred to as the fishbowl technique. Sometimes, simple random sampling also works not with a lottery but with a table of random numbers produced by books or produced by computers. So if we have this table, for example, we shall use data with code 79 as part of our sample, and so on. Now, another sampling technique is systematic sampling, wherein we choose a starting point, then select every kth element of the population using this specific formula. How does this work? If in simple random sampling we just have our number in the sample and we just randomly chose them based on fishbowl technique or random numbers, this time we have a formula to follow. That capital letter N or big N is the size of the population. When I say size of the population, I mean the number of units in the population. And this would be our size of the sample. And when I say size of the sample, the number of units in the sample. Now, how does systematic sampling work? Let's say we are to choose a sample of size 5 from N with a size of 45 used in systematic random sampling. This is saying that we need a sample with 5 members from a population with 45 members. So, first, what we have to do is determine K, which is following the formula of capital letter N, the population size, over small n, the sample size, and that will give us 9. With this 9, it means we have to include every ninth member of the population after choosing a random start. Say, for example, you have picked 4 as our random start. Please take note that it's important that it should be a random start. Otherwise, we will lose the protocol of probability if we would always start with the first one. So, getting 5 members, every ninth member from 4 will get 4, 13, 22, 31, and 40. Meaning the 4th, 13th, 22nd, 31st, and 40th members from this population will be the members of our sample. In the next video, we're going to talk about the other sampling techniques.